I saw a woman that I knew, and she said to me, "You know, nobody ever got sick from being too fat." And I looked at her, and she was serious. And I thought, oh my gosh, what can I say to her? And I had so many thoughts, and I just wanted to talk to her about hypertension and diabetes and risk of heart disease. There's so many reasons that people should watch their weight. But it kind of all came out fast, and I don't think she understood. And so I thought to myself, I have to have a better way, a more organized way, a slower, calmer way to respond to people when they say this. Because folks need to know that just being overweight can be a huge factor. It is a factor, a risk factor for heart disease, but it also can be a risk factor for other diseases as well. So I needed a way to be able to let people know that there's a reason to watch your weight. I also did groups around an urban center. I talked to young adults who were raising children, and we talked about health issues. And they were all in their 30s, and they were all raising children. And they actually didn't know a lot about their health. And I don't know what they were teaching their kids because they didn't have a lot of information themselves. So I think that healthcare reform is when we have the information we need, we pass it on to our children, and we take appropriate steps as families to make change come to America. We have to learn what we need to do and then do it. We can all have some improvements. Eat better, exercise more, do the things that we should for our health. It's really important. But I think first people have to know. People need the information. Everything is on the internet, but you know what? Not every family has the internet. And I have some people who come to me, they've looked on the internet, they have a lot of information, and they're not quite sure how to put it together. What does it mean? But everyone has a television. And I think that one great use of television is to get the word out, what we need to do, what we need to learn, so that we can all be a little healthier, just for the health of it. Welcome back. We've been talking about heart disease and risk factors. Let me just, for a minute, talk to you about food again because it's such a huge issue and I get asked about it all the time. I'm a Southern girl. I love fried food. Everything fried, and that's how I was raised. I don't know about you, but if you're one of those people out there that's been frying and wonder how you can transition, let's talk about that for a little bit. You can bake food and still have delicious food. So I grew up on fried food, but I don't fry at my house. When you fry food, you got to stand and watch it and turn, and there's grease, and it's a lot of steps. So I bake and set the timer and then go do a load of laundry. So for me, it helps my whole schedule if I bake. So if you are used to having fried food, one of the things that you're going to notice is the texture is going to be different. So what you can do if you're going to bake chicken or bake fish, you can roll it in breadcrumbs, and that'll give you a little crunch, and that'll help you if you're trying to transition. One thing I recommend is if you're used to frying a lot and you want to go to baking, is to try baking twice a week. Okay, just try it twice a week. Just slowly introduce a different way of preparing food into your diet. Now, here's the thing. Just because it's baked doesn't mean it has to taste bad. And this is the thing people forget. If you're trying to make healthy food, make it delicious. So, marinate, do a rub, spice it up, use pepper, garlic powder, whatever. So, do a lot to make it taste good, and then you'll be more pleased with it. But try baking twice a week. And just kind of get used to it. So go slow, but that's something you can do very easily. Remember, we want to make changes each day. We're trying to make a lifestyle change. So the change that's easy for you to incorporate is the one you're going to stick with. So it makes a huge difference if you just get started. Another trick with food is to, in the morning, and mornings are rushed for a lot of people. They're trying to get kids out of the house. They're trying to get out of the house. It's a lot. Bananas are wonderful. They're mobile food. You can eat them while you walk. They're about 90 calories. They have a lot of potassium. You can hand one to the kids. You can take one too. So if you're one of those families that skips breakfast, think about a fruit because bananas, even your little ones, will be able to handle that. 90 calories, has a lot of potassium. It's good for you. That's one more fruit than you usually have. The other thing remember when you were kids, you get the little containers in the cafeteria with juice. Juice is good. Orange juice is good. Any kind of juice is good. So if you don't have time for a fruit, but you've got some good juice or milk, if you can drink milk, that's also a great source of nutrition. Better if you do 1% or skim, but if you do 2%, that's still better than whole milk. Okay? So the whole idea is we're trying to gradually work healthier things into our diet till we get more fruits and more vegetables. And actually, more fruits and vegetables would be less caloric. They don't have a lot of calories and they're loaded with good nutrients. You probably remember in school when they tell you carrots are good for your eyes. Vegetables that have a color, each color represents something, so you want to vary it a little bit. So once you get on a roll, you want to introduce different kinds of vegetables and different kinds of fruits. So you can have fun with it. It can really be fun. You can get your bacon going, you can marinate, you can do a rub, you can get your breadcrumbs going. It can be fun. It can also be delicious. If it's delicious, you will keep doing it, I promise. So these are little tips for you, and remember, you're trying to do two. So I recommend you do something with food. Either add a vegetable or add a fruit easily that you try baking if you're somebody that fries a lot. These are things that you can do, and you'll feel so successful when you do, and your heart will love you because it's the right thing to do. I'm excited. Get going. It's important. 3,000 Americans die of a heart attack. 3,000 Americans have a heart attack. 30% die from the first heart attack. So what you need to do is get yourself motivated, get exercising, get cooking right, add fruits, add vegetables, have fun with it. The great thing about talking about this today is that the risk factors are all within your control. You can exercise, you can change what you eat, you can get help for your problems. You can do all of this. The only thing you can't do is pick your relatives. So get going. Learn to do to. Write us, email us, let us know what you're doing. We would love to hear from you. It really matters. Get those changes going. Get them started. This is Dr. Michele with Health 101. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.